Okay, guys, welcome back to the other session of BEEE. Sorry, BEE, if I am not wrong. Okay, right. So if you can listen to me, you can comment me, just confirm me that okay in the chat box, right? So that I could continue the class. And if you guys have any doubts in the previous sessions, you could ask me, right? So meanwhile, I will clarify those doubts. If you guys have any doubts, you could ask me right now itself. Right, and today's topic is torque equation of a three-phase induction motor. Right, so we were discussing about three-phase induction motor. Right, so the torque equation of it. Okay, so that I want to discuss today's class. Right. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you could ask me, and if time permits, I will discuss the torque slip characteristics also. Right. So that's what for today's class. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Explain about stator flux once. Okay. Yeah. Share the record content. Okay. So explanation and the record content. I will definitely share to the section A group. So, right. So I'm in the EC section A group. So I will definitely share the recorded video today itself for the last two or three classes. I have two recorded videos, so I will definitely share it with you guys. Okay, okay. So no, right. Next, one doubt is, sir, if NR and NS rotate in opposite directions, what happens? Right. So if NR and NS rotates in the opposite directions, that means it the motor is going to be in the braking mode. So motor will stop. Right. So that's a different story. If NR speed is, in our case, NR is less than NS. Right. So that is what induction motoring mode. If NR is greater than NS, that means if rotor speed is greater than synchronous speed, then it is known as induction generator. Right. If NR is opposite to the NS, so if NR is opposite to the NS, that is what a braking mode. So right. So this thing you better refer once a textbook. Right. So this is not that necessary for you guys. Okay. So because braking means, okay, so to stop the motor. So to stop the motor, if you just switch off the supply, so if you cut off the supply, what will happen? The motor will stop, but because of moment of inertia, it keeps on rotating. Right. So to reduce the time of stop, what we have to do, we have to apply braking. So which braking? Most generally mechanical braking, just like for car, for bike, for cycle, whatever the brake we are applying, that is what mechanical braking. But so in the case of motors, if you do use mechanical braking, that leads to a wastage of power. Okay, so that is why, and in the mechanical braking, we do face jerking action, right? So to overcome all these effects, we go for electrical braking. That is what uh, where NR rotates in opposite direction to NS. Okay, so for every motor we do have electrical braking concept, but for a first year, that too for EC students, this is not at all necessary. But if you are interested, you go and read a book on any book, right, which includes a braking concept. So right, so I told you uh, during RMF, rotating magnetic field concept, right? So if RYB is the phase sequence, right? So then the rotation is, if it is in clockwise direction, if you want to change the rotation, you have to make it RBY instead of RYB. So that is what the braking concept, changing phase sequence. Okay. So hope it is up to some extent your doubt is cleared. Okay. So that is Leela Manogna, right? So that's doubt is from. Okay. Next doubt is synchronous speed and relative speed between magnetic field and armature winding. So guys, roll number 18. So you just I will confirm one thing. So in the induction motor, there is no concept of armature winding. Okay, so there is no such a armature winding terminology over here. Here we just have stator winding and rotor winding, right? So synchronous speed and relative speed. Uh, so the question is not that clear. Okay, you could ask me. I hope you could ask me in the WhatsApp also, right? So the question is not that clear. Okay, right, guys. Okay, so let's start the class. Okay, so let's go with a simple small problem on it. Okay, so you all of you can see the spotlight on the screen. A three-phase induction motor, right? We are discussing three-phase induction motor only, right? Is wound for 4 poles and is supplied from 50H system. So that means, so the number of poles P equal to 4, right? So and here the 50 supplied from 50H system. So we said induction motor is a singly excited, that is only stator will have supply. Stator is connected to supply. That is stator frequency is 50 Hz. Now calculate the synchronous speed. You have formula ns is equal to 120 f by p. 120 into f is 50 divided by p number of poles 4. So which gives you for 1500 rpm. That's it. That's it. Okay. Right. So now this is okay, synchronous speed. Now speed of the motor when slip is 4%. So right, so this synchronous speed is stator speed. So this stator field speed. Right, now the speed of the motor. What is the speed of the motor? That is NR. How to calculate NR? NR is slip with the, that is rotor is slipped with 4%. So that means you have the formula for slip, that is S is equal to NS minus NR by NS. So right, so this is the case. So if you rearrange this equation, so that means you will get NR is equal to, so that is NR is equal to NS into 1 minus S. Okay, so this is the equation you would get, right? So now what is we need to calculate NR. What is the value of NS? NS just now we got, that is 1500. Okay, 1500. And what is the value of S? That is 4%. That is 0.04. 1 minus 0.04 is, that is somewhere 0.96. 0.96 into 1500, which gives you 1440 rpm. That is 96% of, right? So 96% of 1500 rpm, that is 1440 rpm. Now the other thing is the motor rotor. Okay, so maybe the terminology different. The motor rotor current frequency. So it's unnecessarily motor is written over here. Of course, we are doing for a motor only, right? But there is nothing wrong in it, right? The motor, it has a rotor, right? So what is the frequency of that rotor? So right, you know, Fr is equal to slip times F. So what is the value of slip? That is 4%. 4% means 0. Okay, okay, sorry. The question is not yet completed. When the motor runs at 600 rpm, right? So here at slip 4%, the speed of the motor is 1440 rpm. Now the third question is not related to second question. So now the motor is rotating at 600 rpm. Now calculate slip, that is 1500 minus 600. What is the value of it? 1500 minus 600, 900. 900 by 1500. So right. So whatever the value, that is what the slip, and multiplied by frequency 50, that you get 30 Hz, right? So and that is about uh, the question. So right, so this is the first question. So right, we done it. So no problem. And the second question is somehow lagging. So here, if you be seeing lagging and amperes, the units, you can identify the ampere means this is about current, and lagging means this is about power factor, guys. Okay, so that so far we have not discussed it, right? So now today's class we will discuss it, and I already shared the PPT with you guys, so you can uh, try the problem, this problem after today's topic, right? So right, so now, okay, so let's now let's go to the some basics. Right, let me clear off all those things. Clear off my drawing, clear all my drawings. Okay, right. Okay, guys. Right. So, and right. So, today's class, we will discuss about some AC concepts. Right. So, we know that this is about series RL circuit. Today's class requires some basics about series RL circuit. So in the second unit, you might have studied about series RL circuit, which has a resistor and an inductor, right? So connected to AC circuit. So why do we discussing it? Why we are discussing it? Because we have induction motor, which is a AC machine. So induction motor is having a winding. Winding means which is a combination of resistor and an inductor. Okay, so the stator and rotor both are having windings like this. So and the winding is made up of copper material. Copper means which has some resistance, and winding, it is in the form of winding. So you would definitely have some inductor will be formed. So that's why concepts like series RL circuit, I thought it is somewhat necessary, right? So now it is L means inductor, which has a units of henries. Okay, so now, and R means resistance, which has a units of ohms, right? You cannot add. So if two elements are connected in series, we generally add them, right? So if two resistors are connected in series, so what we do, we connect add them, just R1 plus R2. So here two elements, one is resistor, another one is inductor, but shall we add R plus L? No. Why? Because this is wrong. Why? Because resistance units are ohms, inductance units are henries, so you could not add them. So what we do, we transform inductance into inductance, which is in the form of Henry, into ohms. So that is what XL. What is XL? That is inductive reactance. So that is 2 pi FL. 2 pi FL, which has a units of ohms. Now see, that is XL is having units of ohms, and resistance is also having units of ohms. Now you could add them, but so they both are in some phase difference. They both are not, you cannot directly add them, just like algebraic sum R plus X, you could not do it. Why? Because R is having an angle of 0, and XL is having an angle of 90 degrees. So that's why we do phasor sum. So if you do phasor sum, what you get? You get Z. Z means, that is, if you see this is like a hypotenuse triangle, so that is a side square root of side square plus side square. That is R square plus XL square. That is Z square equal to. So Z is equal to square root of R square plus XL square. What is XL? 2 pi FL. Right. So now you be careful. So my intention is to say that XL is somehow dependent on frequency. So that is what my intention. So right, so to discuss this, XL is somehow dependent on frequency. So right, so this you somehow remember. XL is directly proportional to F. If it is XC, that is inversely proportional, but so capacitance effect is neglected in the case of any electrical machine. That is very small. Why? Because capacitance formula epsilon naught epsilon r A by D. So now, so because of this D, right? So this capacitance effect is somehow neglected, right? So that's another story. You forget about it, right? So this is it. Z is square root of R square plus XL square. Now, what is power factor? So, uh, guys, you know it. Power factor is cosine of angle between voltage and current. Otherwise, from this triangle, okay. So that is cos of theta. Of course, it is represented mostly with phi, but I didn't find the diagram which has phi over here, but you consider it as phi, right? So cos of angle, this is r adjacent side by hypotenuse, that is r by z. So here you could substitute z value, right? So this is what it series RL circuit is, okay. So right, so now we will go back to, without wasting time, we will get back to uh, our actual topic, that is derivation of torque equation. This is actual topic, right? So where the torque is produced, so torque is produced on a rotating element. So what is the rotating element in the case of induction motor? That is obviously what is the rotating element, whether it is stator or rotor. So obviously it's a rotor is the rotating one, that is shaft. So that's why we mainly concentrate on rotor circuit, right? So the induction motor is having two windings, I said. That is a stator winding, can see here, and the other one is rotor winding, right? So this is it. So now we mainly concentrate on rotor. Why? Because I want to derive the torque equation. What is torque equation? Where the torque is produced? Torque is produced on a rotating body. That is why we are concentrating on rotor circuit. So hope you got the clarity, right? So now what we are doing is, you can see the diagram. We are giving three-phase supply. This is R, Y, and B. So what will happen? A flux will be produced. And that links with both stator and rotor windings, right? So now, because of that, what will happen? An EMF will be induced in the rotor winding. Story is a old back one, right? So now you see the EMF induced in the rotor winding at standstill. At standstill means, what is standstill, right? So that means NR, rotor speed, is 0. If NR is equal to 0, what is the value of slip? So guys, right now you answer this question. If NR is equal to at standstill, what is the value of slip? Right. So that is the question. You answer. You just answer in the chat box. Okay. So we'll get some clarity. So I would give some clarity. I discuss some points over here. Right. So that's why. So you just answer in the chat box. Yeah. There are plenty response. Someone is saying no audio. Oh, so if you are giving answers means it's okay. There might be problem with only one person, right? So Leela Manognash, uh, she answered as slip as 0. So I hope you could. That's why, guys, you better have a book with you, a rough page only at least, right? So just note down the answers. I could get only 10 responses, because whereas the number of participants are 76, right? But I could get only 10, so, right? So what does it mean, right? Most of you are not uh, active, right? Okay. So when I said no responses, that means I'm getting some other responses, just like NS. Okay, you people are taking much time. Okay, right. Uh, right. So you see, what is the formula for S? S means NS minus NR by NS. This is the formula for N slip. Okay, so right. So now what is at standstill? What is NR? NR is equal to 0. If NR equal to 0, NS by NS get cancelled. So what is the value of S? S is equal to 1. So here my point is, guys, listen, my point is not to test your knowledge or not to tell about slip is one at standstill. So here my point is, at starting, at starting, what is actually slip means? What is actually slip means? Slip means, if you forget about the denominator, that is ns minus nr. So what is ns minus nr? Ns is stator field speed, that is synchronous speed. Nr is rotor speed. Nr is rotor speed. So now what is slip? Slip is the relative speed between stator field and rotor conductors. So this is very, very important. Ns minus Nr is the relative speed between stator field and rotor conductors. Based on this relative speed only, what is rotor frequency? What is rotor frequency? That is slip times F. Right? What is again slip? That is Ns minus Nr by Ns only. So you see a rotor frequency or the EMF induced in the rotor winding, this particular thing, the EMF induced in the rotor winding, because the flux cutting the rotor conductors, rotor winding. So that depends on the relative speed, that is slip, that is slip. So at standstill, slip value is 1. So that means, so you would get at standstill, so this is EMF E2. But during rotation, during when the motor is running conditions, slip value is not equal to 1. So you have to consider the S into E2 as EMF induced. Why? Because if once the rotor starts rotating, the relative speed between stator field and rotor conductors becomes zero. Sorry, not zero, becomes lesser. So only a lesser flux change will available. So EMF induced in the rotor winding will get reduced. So that is the point, right? So now comes to equation EMF induced in rotor winding per phase. Per phase, you see this. This is EMF induced across only one winding. There are three phases, right? So only per phase is E2. That is, of course, it's a subscript E2, right? So E2 equal to root 2 into pi. So if you do calculations, root 2 into pi will gives you 4.44. So which is a standard number. So in the case of transformer EMF equation, right? So now comes to okay. Sorry guys, there's an external disturbance. Okay, right. So okay, right. So now root 2 into pi is 4.44. This will be useful in the case of unit 4, that is transformer EMF equation. Right. So now see EMF equation, that is F means frequency, frequency of rotor, rotor winding frequency, and N2 means number of turns in the rotor winding. That is not speed. So right, so N2 means number of turns in the rotor winding, and phi means flux linking both stator and rotor windings. That is it. So this is EMF at standstill condition. Now see EMF under running conditions. EMF under running conditions. You see root 2 into pi. What is this frequency? This is rotor frequency. What is that? FR. And number of turns doesn't change. Pi flux will doesn't change. What is FR formula? That is S into F. So if it is E2, what it is multiplied with S. So that is ER. So this is SE2. That is what the case is, right? So this is somehow related with slip. So the concept is, so here what's the point is, the EMF induced in the rotor winding is somehow dependent on slip, right? So that is what the point is. So the point which I want to tell you is the EMF induced in the rotor winding is dependent on slip. What is slip? That is relative speed, ns minus nr. So that is it. So right. So now let's go to next slide. Right. So now see, we discussed the series RL circuit, right? So you know I2 equal to EMF by impedance, just like V by R. So whereas resistance equivalent in the AC circuit is impedance Z2, because I told you guys this is a torque equation. Torque equation means we mainly concentrate on what you say, we mainly concentrate on rotor circuit only. So the rotor circuit stator winding is denoted with subscript 1, rotor is 2. So rotor current, so that is current flowing through one winding is I2, and EMF induced is SE2, and Z2 is the this one impedance of the rotor winding per phase. So and you know cos phi power factor, rotor power factor is R by Z. Just previously we seen it from the uh, phasor diagram. So that is R by Z, R2 by Z2. Now at standstill slip value is 1. At standstill is slip value is 1. So what, so then what would be the rotor current? I2 is equal to there won't be S term over here, right? So there won't be any S over here because it is not SC2, because it is at standstill, at standstill. So S is equal to 1, and the, we seen X is, we seen X is the rotor reactance, X2 is rotor reactance, which is equal to 2 pi F R into L2. So this is, I said the road reactance is dependent on frequency. So what is this frequency? Rotor frequency. Rotor frequency Fr is equal to what's the value? S into F. But we are discussing at standstill, so S is equal to 1. So that's why it is 1 only. So that's why there is no problem, X2 only. Right. When running at slip S, you see here the change is S, and here you have S. So the point you have to remember is only two parameters, that is EMF and reactance. They both are dependent on slip. So that's it. They both are somehow related with frequency. So that's it. Now comes to next slide. So right, so this is about torque equation. So now if you could see here torque equation. So I hope you have already seen the DC machine, DC motor torque equation, right? So I think if you guys have any doubts, you could ask in the chat box. There are some hand raises, but I request you to type it in the chat box only, whatever your the questions, whatever may be the question. I'll definitely answer. Right. So I will just show you the torque equation of DC motor. Okay. So you will definitely conclude something from that. Okay. So guys. Okay. All right. See here. See here. Let me take. Right. So this is the torque equation of DC motor, right? So now you see the what is P. P means number of poles, right? Z means total conductors, and 2 pi is constant, and A is number of parallel paths. These all the things are constants. That's why the TG, that is torque equation, is flux proportional to flux and armature current. What is armature? Armature winding is, in the case of DC machine, it is placed in the rotor circuit. So that is it. Okay. So right. Uh, right. So now my point is the torque is somehow proportional to flux and armature current. Okay, right. So now this is DC motor. So now let's get back to uh, our PPT. Right. So now see now see that induction motor torque equation, that is E2, that is somehow E2 is proportional to, okay, so E2 is proportional to flux and I2, and cos phi 2 is the extra term which we got over here. So right, cos phi 2, that is power factor. In the case of DC machine, there is no concept of power factor. For a DC machine, power factor is for a DC supply, it would be 1. Okay, so there is no concept of reactance. That's why 1. So that way, so the extra parameter which you got is cos phi, that is power factor. So remaining all the things are same, right? So now, so let's go to next slide. So that is this. So right, so you see, we see Z2 is R2 square plus X2 square, I2 is this, and rotor power factor is this. Now, proportionality constant, if you replace it, so right, so that is K E2 I2 cos phi 2. So right, substitute all the things. I2, what is the value of I2? This one. So this is during starting. Starting means value of S is equal to slip value is 1. Okay, so right. So now if you substitute I2 and power factor in this particular equation, so these two in this equation, you would get the starting torque as this, right? So now uh, coming to next slide, right? So that is this, right? Condition for maximum starting torque. So if you want a maximum starting torque, you have to derive it with respect to R2. This we will see in the tomorrow's class, because I am running out of time and I do have some power issues. My battery is draining out. So that's why I am hurrying up, and I'm really sorry for that. Okay, so there are some power issues. My laptop battery is draining out. Okay, so only 19%, I think. Even you can see it, right? So now see running torque, right? So now here you have to consider the slip. Okay, guys, here you have to consider the slip, right? So now see again, the torque is, so what is the torque? Torque is equal to some constant K and E2 and I2 and cos phi 2. This is the torque equation, generalized torque equation. So right, so now E2 here, E2 as it is, and I2, what is I2? This is I2. So SE2 into E2, what it would be? SE2 square, and divided by square root of R2 square plus SX2 square. Now cos phi 2 means R2. So here R2 is written, right? So now this denominator both are same. So they square together and root over is cancelled. So this is what actual torque equation, right? So let me show you. Let me show you this uh, torque equation. That is this equation, starting torque equation. I am just copying. I will just keep it aside with the this running torque, right? So now if you see, let me clear all these things. You see, only difference is S is not there in the equation. Only the difference is S is not there in the equation, right? So that is what the torque equation of three-phase induction motor, right? So now I said if it is a slipping induction motor, if it is a slip ring induction motor, we do have the flexibility of adding external rotor resistance. If it is a slip ring rotor, so that's why. So to vary the torque, okay. So the variable which we have is R2. By varying rotor resistance, we can vary the torque. We can get maximum torque. So that's why. So for getting maximum torque, you should differentiate this with respect to what do you say, rotor resistance, right? So now that is available over here. So you see, so if you differentiate, so this is for maximum starting torque, but if you include S over here, this is same. So that is R2 equal to X2 is the condition where you could get maximum starting torque. So, but so if it is a during running condition, the condition for maximum torque is R2 equal to SX2. Okay, so this I would prefer you to go to the textbook for this derivation. So there is nothing uh, difficulty in it. You just have to differentiate with respect to R2. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Right. So tomorrow I will discuss the torque slip characteristics. Right. So today at any time the battery may go out. So now there for 4 to 5 minutes time, right? So you could ask me whatever the doubts you have, right? So I will be available for 5 minutes, right? You could ask me the doubts in the chat box, okay? So otherwise you could guys leave the session, right? Okay. Yeah, slip formula is ns minus nr by ns or ns minus nr. Yeah, so the first one, that is a slip value is ns minus nr by ns only. Only for the explanation purpose, I used ns minus nr, which is relative speed or slip speed. Okay, the EMF and rotor frequency are dependent on slip speed. So right, so that's the case. Okay. Slip formula is as usual ns minus nr by ns only. Explain third part of problem once again, sir. Okay, okay. So and any more doubts? Any more doubts? Right. If you have any more doubts, I will definitely explain. Right. Yeah. Third part of problem. So right. So this is it. So here you have to calculate rotor frequency when the motor is rotating at 600 rpm, right? So simple thing, let me use a pen and change the color also. Okay, so now this is nr. What is ns? Ns is 1500 rpm, right? So now 1500, so calculate slip first. What is the slip? ns minus nr. Ns is 1500, nr is 600. What is the difference? That is 900. So that is 900 by ns minus nr by ns. That is a slip formula, right? So 900 by 1500. So if you cancel the two zeros in the both the numerator and denominator, that is 9 by 5. That is the three threes are, three fives are. So that is the slip value is s is equal to 3 by 5, right? So now you have to calculate rotor frequency fr. What is fr? Fr is equal to slip times frequency. What is slip value? That is 3 by 5. What is stator frequency? 50 h. So that is 50 by 5, that is 10 multiplied by 3, that is 30 h. Okay, so of course uh explanation on this slide is not that good because of writing with pen is difficult. Okay, but you have understood. So I advise you definitely to do multiple problems on these concepts. Okay, right. So coming to, I have only 2 minutes. Please put this PPT in EC group C. Okay, you better contact section ACR Sandeep, Mr. Sandeep, you will have that. Okay, so now sir, in rotor current frequency slide, there is N as relative speed between magnetic field and armature winding. There is no concept of armature winding, I don't know. Right. So roll number 18. Right. A percentage slip is percentage. Krishnaveni doubt is percentage S is equal to 60. What is percentage S is equal to 60? That I don't know. Right. So just the thing. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's all for today's class, guys. Okay, so and in the coming class, maybe on Monday, I will try to take uh, slightly more than 1 hour. Okay, so right. So I'm just inform you on the prior basis. Okay, so please have such an arrangements.